Hey guys, welcome to your week 6 video. Let's see, this is a 12-week course. This is week 6. That means we are halfway done with the class. That is really exciting and possibly really nerve-wracking because that means we're halfway done, right? We've done half of all the things that we have to do. Okay, so let's talk about what you have to do this week. Of course, I'm going to start with the learning timeline and due dates. I'm already here in Unit 1. Let's take a peek at week 6. Scroll down. We've done all this stuff before. Yay, we're done with all this. All right, here we go. Another week with only 3 lessons. You're going to read a definition chapter in the textbook and learn a little bit more about definition. You are going to learn about proofreading and editing, and then I've got a lesson on peer review because this week, all week long, think of it like a discussion board. You are going to log in, go to the peer review folder in Google Drive, and comment on your classmates' writing. Your peer review comments are due by Sunday, March 25th of this week. So you only have a week to do them. So you don't have much time. But let's talk a little bit more about what that means. Before I go into that, I do want to take you to your weekly lessons and to show you what peer review is going to give you, because I think it's really important that you look at the peer review lesson. It's going to be more to the bottom. Here we go. This lesson is going to talk about reading a draft with a critical eye, collaborating in peer review, and then there are 2 videos. First of all, I want you to learn about commenting strategies. So what are some good ways to comment on your classmates' work? What are some effective ways to comment? What are some ineffective ways? Because comments like good sentence, those aren't very helpful, right? You know, if you're getting feedback on your work and I say good sentence, like, well, what is good about this sentence? Because I would like to replicate that in the future. So there needs to be a little bit more information there. And then also, I want you to watch this video on how to peer review because they use Google Drive, and this video is basically reinforcing what I'm going to talk to you about here briefly. But it's going to show you more about how to peer review in Google Drive. So you really want to be good at that, or else the peer review process is going to get real crazy and really, really confusing. So let's go back in. I showed you last week how to upload your rough draft to the Google Drive folder. If you haven't already done that, you need to do that right now because it was due on Sunday of last week, of week 5. And if you're watching this, it's probably Monday or Tuesday maybe, I don't know. But you need to get your rough draft submitted so that people can look at your work and you can get credit for peer review. So I'm going to go into weeks 3 through 7, Unit 1. I'm going to scroll down to assignments and I'm going to go back into the peer review assignment. Here we go. Okay, you can read through this overview. Of course, as usual, the second link in this learning module is a link to the essay assignment sheet. I don't think we need to review that, so I am going to skip all the way down to the prompt for the peer review. What you'll see is a link again to the peer review folder. This is where our peer review is going to be housed because I find that it's just easier to use Google Drive to do a peer review. But I'm going to go back here because I want to just talk a little bit about what's in here before we go further. Before submitting your peer review, I talked about this last week, but just in case you haven't submitted your peer review yet, please make sure that you have at least 4 paragraphs, an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and your conclusion for peer review. This means that your classmates are going to be able to give you feedback on as many different types of paragraphs as possible. You'll get feedback on your intro, on your thesis statement. You'll get feedback on your conclusion. You'll get feedback on your body paragraphs on multiple body paragraphs so that you can replicate those for the future. Of course, I hope that you will submit more than this, but at the bare minimum, you have to have at least those 4 paragraphs submitted. All your peer reviews are due by Sunday, March 25th. You can participate in peer review after that deadline, but for any day that you participate late, it would be -4 points per day late. So just make sure you've got those comments to your classmates by the 25th. Here's how I'm grading this. Basically on the quality of your comments, on the number of comments that you're giving, and on the fact that you turned in your own draft and didn't just peer review other people's drafts. So you can kind of read through this, and then I will assign a grade once peer review is over. Okay. So once you're in, and again, to get here, you'll click this link. Once you're in the peer review folder, I want you to read through the instructions, because this is going to tell you like how many comments you need to make, what types of comments you need to make. It's going to tell you how to upload your essay if you haven't done that already. I'm going to skip the how to upload your essay part because I've talked about this twice now. Actually just once, but go back and watch the week 5 video. Okay. So you're going to peer review at least 3 classmates' essays. Now, most of you will probably only peer review 3 essays, but some of you might really enjoy the peer review process, and maybe you want to just read what your classmates are doing. So you can definitely peer review more than 3, but you'll just get credit for the 3 that you do peer review. So you will see eventually, once everybody has submitted all of their essays in here, you'll see a bunch of list of names, and each name corresponds to one of your classmates' essays. Hopefully when you double click and select that essay, you'll see a full draft, or at least those 4 minimum paragraphs, and you want to make sure that you're reading through at least 3 of these, okay? Begin by peer reviewing essays that do not have any comments added to them yet. Now, there's no way from this page to tell whether or not comments have been added, but once you're in here, you'll see the comments are on the right-hand side of the screen. So if you scrolled all the way down, and let's pretend that first comment wasn't there, you would see, okay, there's not really any comments here. If you open up someone's work and there's like 5 or 6 different people who have commented on it, try to find somebody else to review, because that might mean that there are other people who have no comments. If too many people are just reviewing the very first name that pops up on the page, then everybody will be working in there and other people won't get any feedback from their classmates, or as much feedback. So it's important to first find essays that have little to no feedback on them so that you can really involve yourself in a solid peer review. Okay, now if all the essays already have comments, that's fine. Just pick whatever 3 you want. When you're peer reviewing, you will be given the opportunity to edit and make changes to the document, or to simply make comments. I only want you to make comments, okay? So I never want anyone to, like, for example, select a sentence and backspace it out. I never want anyone to enter their cursor in the middle of a sentence and add some words, okay? I don't want you guys to do this. Don't add or remove anything directly to the document, because your classmate, now hopefully they would be smart enough to read their whole draft before submitting it, but you never know who's reading their work before submission and who isn't. And I wouldn't want them to turn something in that they didn't realize they wrote because someone else wrote it. Okay, so do not put any comments directly into the document, and do not take out anything. What you want to do instead, like, for example, if you think this is a terrible sentence and you suggest to the person that they need to remove that sentence, then highlight it with your cursor, select comments, it's up in the right top corner, select plus comment, so that's add a comment, and then maybe type something like remove sentence. Okay, I'm in all caps. It sounds like I'm shouting, so I'm going to try that again. Remove sentence. And then I can click comment. Okay, so then my comment is there, but I haven't actually made any changes to the content of this student's work because it's not my essay to change. It's my essay to comment on. Like, I have the opportunity to comment on it, but I shouldn't be changing any of the work here. Okay, so that's really what it says in this box, in this highlighted box. We've talked already about the due date. There's more information on inserting comments if you need this information. I've showed you the information on grading already, so that's there. So this is honestly it. Really quickly, I want to talk about quality of comments. So you will earn 20 points if your comments are helpful, are things like, add a comma here, or this sentence is illogical, there might be a word missing, or this paragraph seems unorganized. What if you flipped it around or moved it to a different location, or this sentence is confusing. What do you mean here? Now, comments that are not good quality comments are things like, looks good, interesting, I like what you're saying here, because those types of comments are not deep enough to really offer good feedback. So I want you to make sure that your comments are actually helpful for your classmate. You can, of course, use constructive criticism, like, well, I don't find this paragraph to be effective, but what if you did this instead? Now, of course, I don't want you to say things like, ew, this is junk, or what a crappy introduction, or anything. Be polite in your criticism, but make sure that you're offering suggestions. It's perfectly fine to give praise and to say that you like something, but you want to explain why you like it. So if you really find a sentence to be very effective, well, what about this sentence is effective? Because then you're giving your classmate room to improve other sentences so that those sentences are as good as the one that you liked, and explaining what's so great about that sentence. So it's perfectly fine to give praise. Praise is always a good thing, but you just want to make sure you're explaining your praise. You want to offer both global and local comments. So I mentioned that right here. Global are big picture comments like organization, structure, content, things like that. Local are revisional comments like details, grammar. Oh, you forgot to put a period here. Your in-text citation is a little bit off. Those are local comments. Both comments I want to see you making on your classmates' work. Again, you can use constructive criticism. You can offer explanatory praise. You can explain the praise that you're offering, but you want to make sure that you've got good, solid feedback and not just like, I don't really know what to say, so I'm going to add random nonsensical comments here and there that aren't really very helpful. Don't do that. Okay, so just to recap one more time on how to add comments to a classmate's work, you're going to select whatever it is. Like, let's say you notice, why is this word red? Maybe you'll select this, make a comment, add the comment, and say change font to black. Click comment. Let's say you're in somebody's document and you've noticed that another one of your classmates has already added comments. Maybe you see this remove sentence and you want to click on it and you want to say, you know what, I like this sentence. I think this is a great first sentence. You can even reply to other comments that have been made, and you can say, something like, I'm not sure they should remove this. I think it is effective because it presents an interesting view of college or something like that, then you can reply to someone else's work. Make sure that you never resolve any comments, because then it's going to go away. And when I'm looking at the work in here and grading it, I might not see that, so-and-so has done all these comments because someone else went in and resolved them all, and now I don't see any comments. So if you click resolve, you're hiding comments and I might not be able to see them, and that could end up hurting somebody else's grade. Now, for those of you who might be like, oh my gosh, what if that happens? Don't worry, I can see a list of comments here, and if I notice, I can reopen them and they'll show back up. Now, if you're like, well, I clicked resolve because I don't want that comment up there anymore and I'm the one that made the comment, that's fine. Just select these 3 buttons here and delete the comment, okay? But you are only allowed to delete your own comments. So I made all these comments and I can delete them. Once the comments are deleted, I won't be able to see them anymore. So again, it's really important that you only delete comments that are yours and that you want to go away. And if somebody has replied to a comment, as you noticed, it deleted everything. So if another classmate has replied to a comment you've made, then you can't delete it because it will delete another classmate's comment. So be very, very wary about deleting and resolving comments. It's better to resolve than to delete. Don't do either of those. That's probably the best. Okay, so that is how to do peer review. Again, I want you to do 3 of these. I want you to, let's look at the grading. Number of comments. Student offers at least 10 comments on classmates' draft. So I want you to make at least 10 comments, global and local comments, on 3 drafts. That's a total of 30 comments. Read 3 essays. Make 10 comments per essay at least, and you're good to go. That's peer review. You can do peer review at any point throughout the unit. If you want to start, if you want to peer review somebody's on Monday, peer review another one on Wednesday, and then a third one on Friday, that's fine. If you want to peer review all 3 of them on Sunday, that's also perfectly fine. But just make sure that you're peer reviewing people who don't have comments already or who have minimal comments if they do have some. I think that covers everything, you guys. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes and that's everything I wanted to talk to you guys about this week. So another not so short video, but that's okay. Have a good week. Enjoy peer review. It's kind of a low stakes, easy peasy assignment, I think, but it's good because it gives you some sample essays to look at. Have fun. See you next week. We're almost done with this unit. Bye, guys.